Mm.
No? Okay, so then we can just go ahead and get started then. I accidentally opened Steam, so uh-oh. That's I just have to close out of that whenever that opens. But in any case, yeah, we can just go ahead and get started, and I'll be a minute or so while I'm looking for something to talk about.
1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
Alright.
Don't worry, my friends. I am your shield.
Alright, and then real quick, I'm just gonna take a look over on Fiverr. Okay, so you play Junkrat May. Alright, so far is not gonna be too fun here, but you know, mostly our objective was just going to be to avoid her since we cannot kill her very easily. Alright. So just to begin, on Junkrat's range, Junkrat does not like to be super far away from the fight. Right now we're positioning really far away, and that's not where Junkrat prefers, for a couple of reasons. So first off, or I guess the big reason is because of the projectile nature of all of his weaponry, right? So his shots and his concuss mines, right? Both of those are projectiles, meaning they have travel time. And because they have travel time, it's going to be very difficult to land those accurately at ranges, as this gives people time to see it coming, they can dodge it, they can shield it, they can run away, they can, as well, on top of this, you just end up missing shots flat up because it's very long travel time and it's hard to predict where people are going to be. So in general, Junkrat has a much closer, he prefers a much closer range, so we're at 1 minute here, I'm just going to demonstrate that real quick. So Genji I'm saying Genji, Junkrat, sorry, he prefers a range of probably around like 10 to 25 meters or so. So that's going to be like around this distance, because this just means that we can get kills very easily, right, very consistently, and then probably capping out around like, yeah, 25 would probably be preferred range, and then of course you can go further if needed, if the situation calls for it, and you can go closer if the situation calls for it, but 10 to 25 is going to be where we prefer to be within, whereas in our gameplay, we're just kind of chilling all the way back here, right, when we have the option to push forwards, right? And then this is just going to mean that's very inaccurate to hit shots.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Okay, so let's hop back in that game real quick. So we were on Hollywood.
Welcome to Holly Ready for Battle.
Now make sure we're dodging the fire strike when we see it coming, so we're not just taking damage unnecessarily.
Push on. I am loving this.
Good job taking high ground. It's a good idea. Though we do throw a second one, but it doesn't really
Yeah,
do very
that was
much.
my bad.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good spot. Oh, cheers.
Alright.
I got confused right here with the tunnels because I forgot on this point is that there's 2 tunnels.
Yeah, so here let's talk about how to tell whether or not you have won or lost a fight, right? How to tell that. So the basics of this comes down to watching kill feed, as kill feed at the top right corner of your screen shows you when you're up or down people. When you are up 1 to 2 people, that is an advantage, right? You can play more aggressively because they have less people to look at you and shoot at you. And when you're up 2 to 3, that is a one fight, right? At that point, you can play super aggressively, and you probably shouldn't use ultimates, as that would just be overkill, right? Now, this also goes the exact opposite way. When you're down 1 to 2 people, that is a disadvantage. Right? It doesn't mean that you've lost the fight yet, but you might want to play a little bit more passive because you're losing. And then when you're down 2 to 3 people, which would be this situation where it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the enemy team versus us, who's 1 person, right? That's it. So it's a 5v1, and in this situation, that means that this fight is very much lost. And in a lost fight, you want to look to get out, or you let them kill you, and you also don't want to use ultimates. So, are you familiar with the term staggering?
No.
No? Okay, so staggering is when you die late. And so let's say we die here. Let's
Oh,
just take a look
okay.
what happens, right? So we die here, right, to Junkrat, right? Let's skip forwards a little bit, right? Let's come to our perspective, right? So when we are dead, our team is now pushing into point and engaging without us, right? So our team, when we die late and we stagger, our team has two options. They can either wait for us, in which case we've just wasted a bunch of time, or they can push in without us and be at a disadvantage and down a player, right? And now that means that they're more likely to lose that fight. So here, that staggering's not going to be a very good thing. So in that situation, knowing that it probably was, we probably wouldn't have been able to get out easily. It probably would have been best if, as soon as we lost the fight, we just let them kill us, right? Instead of trying to stay alive. Here, while walking back, I'd maybe use like 1 mine as movement to just get back sooner and faster. That way you can get to the fight faster.
This one's for you.
And grab the health pack that's like right next to you. Just awareness of the map, but that might just be me because we're not familiar with the map. Oh, wrong character. Okay, so this fight, I imagine we're looking for Tyre, at least hopefully we are. Okay, so it looks like we get it.
Fire in the hole.
Okay, so now the problem becomes that we're tiring when our team is not ready for the fight, right? So our team is now not engaging the fight, right? The fight has not begun yet, and because the fight's not begun yet, if we're tiring, who's the entirety of the enemy team going to be looking at?
Me,
Or what? More accurately.
my tire.
Your tire, right? So that means that 6 people get to look at it and shoot it, and it's going to be very hard for you to get value out of it. And on top of that, everyone still has all of their abilities and resources, right? Reinhardt still has his full shield, and Mercy still has res if you get a kill, and, Junkrat still has mines to escape, and Pharah can boost away, right? So everyone still has abilities, and everyone still can look at it and focus it. So we probably don't want to be tiring now. We want to tire when the fight has begun. So don't use ults in won or lost fights, but then also use ults in pretty much in any fight that is currently happening. But the fight's not happening yet. The fight would be happening if like our team is like right here, right next to the Reinhardt, right? So the biggest indication of fights beginning is like the closeness of the teams. Like if our Reinhardt, or sorry, if our Reinhardt is right next to the Reinhardt, the fight's pretty much begun, right? Right here, that it hasn't. So let's see. Did we get value out of it? Maybe. Oh, did we just like went inside the Oh, because there's a little. Okay, that's weird. We went inside the desk. Okay, so we get 1 kill. Not pretty good, not absolutely fantastic, right? Obviously, 2 plus would be better to go for. Getting a 6-man is 6 times better than a 0-man, or even more than that. Nice kill.
Helden sterben nicht. Justice reigns.
Pretty much every time we mine to go somewhere for mobility, we throw 2. In most cases, you're not going to need to. Now, 2 definitely can be useful in certain situations, but I'd probably say most of the time you use mines, you're not going to need 2. And we're going to go, next time we go to the training range, we might talk about some of that. Make sure we're intentionally aiming in the direction that people are, right? Like we can look at this and go, oh, where the heck are we even like looking at here, right? Right? Like we shoot a couple shots over into nothing. Shoot a couple more shots into nothing. Okay. Look to use mines as a finisher. So why don't we just go over that now? We're at 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Look to use mines as a finisher. So mines in general have 2 main purposes, right? Mines can be used for mobility, and mines can be used as a finishing blow, right? So the best combo that you can use to make it a finishing blow is shoot mine, right? And this can pretty much insta blow up somebody, right?
Okay.
And when you do that, you're able to get a kill really fast. So when you burst someone down really, really fast, it means they can't get heals, they can't run around the corner and get away from you, they can't use abilities, they can't get away. It secures the kill, right? So think, for example, it's much easy, when Widowmaker gets a 1 shot on somebody, they stay dead, whereas, somebody, let's say, Mei's slowly freezing somebody to death, right? That's not gonna, they're gonna have a high likelihood to be able to get away, right? So we want to kill people as fast as possible, look to use mines as a finisher. Now let's talk about mine for mobility. Mines can get you places very, very easily, right? So like with 1 mine, we can get like up on this high ground, whereas like almost every time we use mines, we try to use 2 of them, where probably not necessarily really use two of them. On top of that, when you do mine, jump right before you mine because you get extra height with it. Whereas if you were to just mine regularly, we go to here. Whereas if we were to do like the same thing, just look how we jump ahead of time, and now we're like all the way up here, right? So it's a lot more height with it. And then also, if you were to do two mines for any reason, so like let's say for example, we're trying to cover like a lot of distance or like get like over top of them. So like I don't know, let's say we're trying to get like up there. I don't even know if we can get up there with two mines, but we would mine, and then we actually were mining too fast, so we would go mine immediately. Instead, we're gonna have a little bit of a delay. We're gonna wait till we hit the apex of our height, right, the highest peak. So we're gonna jump, and then we're gonna do it again, right? So we actually weren't able to reach the very top of that, but what we would do is we would go like mine, and then we'd mine immediately, which just means that we wouldn't get nearly as much. We would like go like that. Oh wait, one moment. Did I just? All right, now I'm confusing myself because that's okay. Wait, that was confusing. All right, maybe I'm teaching myself here teaching myself something here. Right. Mine immediately gets tons of height. Okay, well that's discovering something new. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, Junkrat can fly.
Yeah. So that's apparently new information for me. So never mind. Mine immediately. So yeah. So actually, wow, that's a ton of height. Okay. So yeah. In any case, that's maybe it's like more if you're trying to go for more distance. But in any case, we'll just continue on here. Another tiny little tech thing we can go over is before you tire, usually a good idea just to place a trap real quick, just because it only takes half a second, and then if somebody were to come and try to hunt you down, they get trapped, they kill you, and then your death mines kill them, right? And then that's it for the moment.
Welcome to Holly Ready for Battle.
And then, you know, if we were to mine just to boop someone around, it just honestly makes it harder to kill them a lot of the time. Okay, so here we walk out into the open. Dang it, man, we should have just been out back in the training range. Why don't we? Yeah, okay, it's fine. Whatever. We'll talk about it on the training range. Sorry, we're going back and forth here. We're at 3 minutes and 30 seconds. We're going to go over positioning. So how should we be positioning ourselves, right? So, real quick, let's go all the way over here. Right, so if we are standing right here, right, and the enemy team is over there, and they're all looking at us and shooting at us, right, it takes us 1, 2, 3 seconds to get behind cover, right? Now, from the time that we get behind cover, right, and the time it took us to get here, we died, right? Whereas if we're right here, we can do mostly the same stuff, except for now it takes us half a second to duck behind cover, right? Which is 6 times faster than what it took us before, right? And from behind cover, you can't shoot through solid walls, so we're safe here, right? So therefore, good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the absence of cover, right? So there's a lot of different types of cover. You have slopes, you have pillars, right? So in between shots, when we're reloading, when we're low health, when we're being shot at, right? Corners do the same thing. Random objects that are sitting around, like the payload, pillar, corner, doorway, corner, right? High grounds also all act as natural cover, right? Like they can see us, now they can't. See us, we crouch, can't, right? On top of that, high grounds also, on top of that, right, most characters in the game can't get up to you on a high ground, right? Like they can't reach you up there, right? Which gives you an extra survivability, right? And then the ones that can need to use abilities. And then on top of that, we have a ton of visibility. We can see over here, and all the way over here, and all over there. And then, but when we're on a low ground, we can't see over there, or any of the high grounds, right? So just use cover, take high grounds. When we were on the high ground, we we never really ever used the high ground. We immediately kind of ran down this stairway instead of actually firing from up top, right? So then here we end up dying because we weren't using cover properly, and then therefore we were able to get shot for free. Okay, so we do swap to May. Okay, so first off, out in the open again, just looking at our cover. might be slightly more efficient, like if we were maybe sitting off on the corner, or if we were to push the point, trying to do our best to get over to the doorway. Now, let's talk about target priority as well. Target priority is who should we be shooting at, right? This can get pretty advanced, but the basics of it is probably tanks aren't who we want to be shooting at, right? Tanks have 2 to 3 times the health of other characters. They have armor, they have shields and abilities, and tanking abilities, right? So they're very difficult to kill, right? On top of this, DPS output damage and supports output healing, and even though tanks are a very important role, their job is to create space, which is not a statistical output, right? So overall, we want to be focusing the other characters. So for example, right here where we have the option to just very, very easily shoot at the Mercy instead of the D.Va, right? Like when Mercy's like right there beaming, beaming from the side, and we could just do this, right? Shoot at Mercy, and Mercy's even half HP, right? She'd be much, much better target to try to kill than the D.Va, who has 3 times the HP, even, or in this situation where Mercy's half, 6 times the HP, right? And on top of that is going to be getting healed the entire time, right? So probably going for a different target would be much, much better here. Okay, good ice block though. Probably be backing up into the room. It would be a good idea there, right? And then because we're not backing up into the room again, we end up dying because we're out in the open. Whereas if we were in the room, Pharah can't really shoot us for the room, and then we can maybe wall it off if we need to, like if we can just to save our life or something like that. Okay, first off, beware the Reinhardt that just charged past you. He's probably the target who we want to be focusing, right? That's not to say, when we're talking about target priority, it's not to say that you never shoot at tanks, right? You shoot at tanks when they're low, when they're out of position. Reinhardt here is very, very far out of position, right? Look at where he is in comparison to his team, right? When you shoot at tanks when the only thing you can shoot at. So here we probably should be shooting at them, or at the Reinhardt, right? Probably be a good idea here. And then we can get a pick with him with our team. The other thing is we're also attempting to freeze much further than the distance in which we actually can freeze, right? So we want to make sure we're getting to we're familiarizing ourselves with our freeze distance, which I believe off the top of my head is around like 10 meters. Like that's maybe like 13, maybe like 10 to 13 meters ish. Something around that is the range. Yeah, we're trying to do that more at like a 20-meter range, roughly. So we might want to be a little bit close. We want to make sure we're closer because right now we should be right-clicking, right? If we're outside of range of left-click, we just right-click. Okay. Notice, again, positioning where we're very, very far ahead of our team, very far out in the open. Now, we do need to touch point here because there's 9 seconds left, but, we can do so from safer angles, like being closer to our team and maybe touching from the corner where we have cover, like, boop, can't see us anymore, right? Whereas where we're at currently is just very far forwards, and it's probably going to get us killed here, I'd imagine. Yeah.
Initiating match.
Alright, so on this map, usually it's a very good idea to spam them to start, and on most maps, you're just going to, on Junkrat, you're just going to spam them from the spawn, right? Because we can just get in really good damage, potentially get a kill, and that would stagger them and, make them have to wait and waste time. And then also it gives us a bunch of ult charge. Like, for example, here what we could do is if we come back from spawn immediately and we start running, and immediately we would have time to run all the way down here, place a trap, run all the way back up here, get around the corner, and be up here, right? If you and then we can spam from here. You have a trap mine down and be able to do that, and then that would get us, some easy damage in there. And then once we're done, you'd back up, right? Just gets you easy ult charge. Whereas here we're just sitting really far back. On top of that, we've placed trap once this game.
Right, I noticed that.
So trapping much more often. Like a lot of times you just place it randomly, right? Like if it's not, especially like on attack where you're not able to place it in preferred positions. Pretty much once you're in a fight, you just plopping it down, right? You're just placing it there just
Mhm.
in the case that somebody it goes on top of it, goes over top of it, like in case they come to contest you, something like that, right? Whereas we haven't really placed it yet, especially on defense here, we want to have it placed, right? So good places would be like where they can't see it. So probably say the 3 best places would be like, you know, here in spawn, maybe like right here behind the car where like somebody could accidentally just walk into it and they can't see it, right around the corner, right around this car, right around this corner, maybe in this room, right? Just places where they're not expecting it to be and where it's around the corner where they can't see it.
The
Okay.
gaze of food. Activating the barrier. Barrier is out of existence. Come out and face
I'm under
me.
attack.
Okay, I'll go over that in a minute. Probably having it. Oh, we accidentally get a kill there. They're just having a trap plays could trap the diva, and then also just maybe mine earlier so she's getting off of us and not being like on top of us. Oh, requesting healing a little bit late. Request healing like the moment you start taking damage, but it's good that you have a bound. A lot of console players don't even have a bound, and even people who play PC don't have a bound, right? So it's a good thing you have it bound, or at least you are pressing it. It's a good habit to be in. And that is game. Okay, so let's see. We're going to go over like one thing, and then we might be able to get into another one quick as well. So let's talk about left-right strafing. Usually they call it AD strafing, but you're in console, so it's not. You don't press AD. But here, where we were playing Junkrat, right? When we're moving around, right, we don't want to be standing still to like these bots where it's just very easy to shoot us, right? Where people can shoot us for free. Now, we want to be moving, but there's right and wrong ways to be moving, right? So typically when you're moving, you do AD strafing. So left, right, left, right, left, right. There's bad ways to do this. If you just go forwards and backwards, we'll notice that this entire time they can still see us and we're really accomplishing nothing. Right? We're not doing anything except for making our shots harder on ourselves and just kind of fooling ourselves into thinking we're a harder target to hit, whereas in reality we're not really any harder to hit than when we're like right here, right? The other thing is if we go too fast, same thing, they can pretty much see us this entire time. If we go too slow, then that means that we're a very easily predictable target and they can track us very easily. And then the best way to do this is to find a nice medium, right? Left, right, left, right, left, right. This way, people shooting at us end up doing stuff like this, right, where the shots go past us because they're missing us. It doesn't have to be literally left, right, left, right. You can mix it up, do things random with it. Crouch once in a while. I think on console it's a lot harder to crouch spam, but you can just crouch once in a while if you have it bound to an easier place to hit. And then that's how you want to be moving, right? That's it for now. Would you like to get me another code to go over?
Double kill.
This bomb's for you.
Triple kill.
I have a tie.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not a loose.
yeah, tie's fine.
Oh.
Welcome
Oh.
to Junkrat. Ready for battle.
It is going to be SYY9W3. I know I played this one last night. I just don't remember how. I know it ended in it. Oh wait, that was this morning.
Welcome to Junkrat Town. Ready for battle. Attackers.
Oh, this is a 1 minute game. So it looks like someone maybe left the game.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. Other than that, those are my only losses. I only have wins after that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, we're only gonna be going over this for another probably because we'll rush the ending, but the last 8 minutes I usually we'll do like 6 minutes this time, but I usually take the last 6 minutes to do a go over the main points, do a quick review. So we're only gonna be doing this for like another 10 minutes maybe. So
Okay.
Win's fine.
4QAKZT.
All right.
Welcome to Oasis. Ready for battle.
This will restore.
1.
Okay, first off, make sure we're just coming out of spawn on time. Usually it's just a good advantage to have. Like, if you're
Mhm.
walking out of spawn late, this means that you just have a couple seconds of delayed time where we're not doing anything. Just a good idea to come out of spawn on time.
This will restore you.
Okay. Couple things there just with the projectile paths of how we're shooting. So first off, noting that with our gun, right, we are shooting a projectile gun, which means that it takes time for our bullets to reach them. The further away we are, the longer it'll take. When we're up
Okay.
right here on somebody, we can be aiming directly at them because it's going to there's going to be very little travel time. When we're back here, if we're aiming at Monkey, notice our crosshairs on him this entire time, but the shots go behind him, right? So what we want to be doing is at
Okay.
distance, we need to be aiming ahead of him, not at him, right? So here we need to look in front of him, and then that way, by the time our shots get to him, they end up actually hitting him, right? So
Okay.
that's the first thing, is your gun is a projectile, but on top of that, you also have an arc on your gun, right? So that means that that essentially your bullets will go forwards and then down, or up and then down, right? They fall, right? So that means on the diva here, notice how we shoot at the diva in a moment.
Yeah, I was going up, and then it wasn't really.
Yeah, so it wasn't reaching her. So notice how we're looking straight at diva, but the shots go too low, right? I don't even know who this is. Hans. I don't know who that. So in any case, right, like here, when we're shooting at diva, we're aiming straight at her, yet it's going too low, right? So when we're aiming at diva, we want to
So I need
make
to
sure
aim
aiming
up.
Exactly, aim up, right? And then that way the shots hit her. So the further away somebody is from us, and probably on a higher ground as well. So far away, high up, we're aiming up further, and then we're also aiming ahead of them, right? The further away they are. So that's just understanding projectiles, and then like I said, it's also going to be obviously it's very hard to make those big predictions at long ranges, and that's why he also prefers close ranges, right?
Mhm.
Right, maybe instead of sitting back the whole time. Okay, here again, probably no reason to use 2, and we could use 1 to get up the high ground, and then have another spare one to use to finish someone off. Probably just chuck in a trap on the ground. Don't drop from high ground if it's not needed. Keep the high ground because it's great positioning. Okay. Oh, mine to finish off the kill a little bit faster. We also mine too early. Like we throw out the mine and then detonate it too early here. Right, so notice.
Yeah, I'm still figuring that one out.
So I just work on that mine combo. Gonna get you a lot of kills, right? Like pretty much like on Junkrat, like half of your kills are gonna be a result from that mine combo if you're using it correctly, right? It's a lot of your kills come from that, right? Okay, positioning, right? Left cover, right? This is cover over here. Soldier shoots at us. Now we walk in. Soldier can't shoot at us, right? Cover over here too, right? Soldier can't see us anymore. These guys look at us, can't see us, right? But instead we're just sitting smack dab in the middle, and then therefore we get shot. Okay, good job using mine though to get out. I think we do have a good idea of when, like I think we're using those for mobility in decent times. That's a situation where if we jumped beforehand, we'd probably make it up.
I guess I didn't know that about the jumping. I'd probably done it, I just didn't realize it made me higher.
Yeah. Okay, there again, we didn't give enough time to let it go over and actually hit him. We detonated it too early.
Let me get you patched up.
Objective must be ours.
Okay, here we have a little bit of we get into actions per minute of essentially like what actions per minute is doing as much as possible with your time, right? So if you were to compare a grandmaster player to a bronze player, right? A grandmaster player, for the most part, with mistakes included, is going to be or sorry, mistakes excluded, I guess would be the better terminology there. With the mistakes excluded, they're going to be efficient with pretty much every single second of their time, right? They're going to be constantly doing stuff, constantly shooting, right? Because that's how you get the most value. Whereas a bronze player might, go pew pew shoot shoot and then randomly take a 10-second pause, right? And then they'll go, oh yeah, I'm in a fight, pew pew shoot shoot, and then take 5 seconds to go and wander around, right? Whereas, just kind of look at our gameplay where we're doing things, right? We're doing things, we're shooting, and then all of a sudden we take this. Once we're bound down here, we start doing nothing for the next like 10 seconds, right? So watch this, right? We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now we start shooting again, so it's 9 seconds. We start fighting. Again, just noting that like during that time, if we had maybe mined up to the high ground, we would have been there like 5 times faster, right? Here we start shooting at the soldier, we miss a bunch of shots, right? But we're still trying to do something, which is good. And then we reload, and then we actually stop doing things again. So 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, and then 14 seconds until we're, during this fight so far that we've just kind of been sitting there, not really doing much. We're not shooting, we're not damaging, we're not getting kills, right? Oh, nice accidental kill. Place a trap, right? Just have it out there doing things.
Okay.
Right, especially like if we know like they're gonna be coming, like this is such an easy place to put it. It would be just in this doorway, right? Because we know that they're gonna try to come and get us in here, right? So if we place in the doorway, then it can catch them while they're trying to come in. Yeah, we don't have supports right now, so we're dead.
I need healing. Join up with me. Need healing.
No.
But yeah, I was trying to do something. I was like trying to say my ult was ready, but it wasn't working.
Nice kill.
Aiming's overrated.
Shoot mine. It's a better kind of combo to go for. If you shoot mine, so instead of just mining regularly, it just animation cancels it well into each other. There, when you see she's half HP, just go for mine, because it's easier to hit, right? You have a bigger radius on it, so just finish her off with the mine instead of trying to go for shots. Yeah, there you go, like that. Okay.
Yeah, my team wasn't there.
Yep. So right now it's a 1, 2, 3, 4.5 versus 1, 2.5, right? So 4.5 versus 2.5. We're down 2 people. On top of that, they're also prime milling, right, which puts them at an advantage as well. Our Diva and Reinhardt are both about to die as well, right? So overall, there's a bunch of, everything that's happening is screaming we're losing this fight, right? Or we have lost this fight, and then therefore probably don't want to be tiring here, right? It's just not a good decision. They destroy it. When you do tire, make sure that we're not being predictable with it, right? So with a tire, like a couple things we can do with it is we can just, keeping in mind that we have 10 seconds on it. Don't feel like you have to rush it. You don't have to immediately go into people, right? We can have it sitting on top of us. Like we can, if you run into a wall, it'll actually mute the sound of it and it'll make it hard for people to hear it, and that'll confuse them and go, where the heck is tire at, right? On top of that, remembering that you can climb walls with it. If you didn't know that, it's you press spacebar and it will climb walls. So maybe, for example, here, if we're trying to get it to go, get on top of these guys, we can climb the wall, be up here, right? Maybe we can come around here, climb this, right? Jump over the edge, or maybe if we wanted to, we can jump across the middle, right? Jump across over here, something like that, right? Like if we did that routing, right? We go up, jump, right? Something like that. We'd probably be able to get like 2 on these guys, right? Something like that, instead of just running it straight out the middle. So be creative with it. Don't just send it straight into them. The only time you would ever send it straight into them is if you feel like, if you think you can get it off fast enough to where they wouldn't be able to react to it.
Okay.
All right.
Get into position. Heroes never die. Surrender to my will.
Very nice kill.
Timing's
Alright,
overrated.
so we are going to leave here. We are going to now go over the main points of the session, do a quick review, and then wrap it up from there. So on Junkrat here, right? So
Perfect day
abilities,
for some mayhem.
mine, use it to finish off targets. We didn't really do this very often. Get used to the combo. It's very, very, great combo. Trap, make sure you're actually using it. Place it out there. Place it before you tire. Put a mine on top of it whenever you trap, because that can get a kill on people, in case you weren't aware of that, because I just haven't seen you do it, right? So trap, if there's a mine there, that gets a kill, right? And it's just an easy combo to do. Then besides that, make sure we're jumping before we're mining to get extra height. Don't feel like you always need to use 2 everywhere you go. You can get a decent bit of height off of just 1. And then that's about it. Overall, I'll probably say ability usage goes to like a medium priority for you to work on. Ultimates, make sure you're not using ultimates when the fight's not happening, right? Too early in the fight. Make sure we're not using it when the fight has been won or lost. And then besides that, be unpredictable with it, right? Come from different weird angles, go up, wait with it. You have 10 seconds, don't rush it. Right? And then that's pretty much it with your ultimates. Probably say, once again, a medium priority for you to work on. Mechanics. Mechanics is just how you're shooting at stuff. Make sure with our gun that we understand that it's a projectile and has an arc, right? So the closer something is, we aim straight at them. The further away, that we aim in front of them. So when we're right here on somebody, we're going to aim straight at this person. Whereas when we're aiming at somebody right there, if we try to aim straight at them, it's just going to go behind them, right? So instead, we're going to aim a little bit in front, right? Just a little bit in front, right? And then the further away, we aim a lot more in front, right? And then when they're really, really far away, we aim a lot in front. Arc, right? That means that we're shooting at this guy. If we go there, our bullet goes there, right? So instead, we have to look all the way up there, right? So it even goes close to hitting that person. Oh, that was a nice shot. Okay, so you look all the way up in the air, right? And then that way we actually get the arc going, right? If they're on a high ground as well, same thing. We look up higher. And that's about it with that. Besides that, target priority, make sure we're shooting at the right things. Don't shoot at tanks, shoot at DPS and supports. Actions per minute, make sure we're not just sitting around, that we're doing things as often as possible, shooting as often as possible, doing things with our time. May understand your left click range and right click when you're outside of left click. Range is, okay, so 10 meters. Okay, so it looks like it's like 11 meters here. So it has like an 11-meter range. If you're outside of this, you should be right-clicking, right? And then that's about it. Overall, probably a medium priority again. Everything's clumping up around the middle. Let's see, positioning. Make sure we're closer to them, right? On Junkrat, make sure that we are not sitting really far in the back, but instead we're 10 to 25 meters is our preference, because we're projectiles, and it's a lot easier to hand land them when we're up closer. Make sure that we are using cover. This is a big one, was that we actually use cover, then therefore don't end up dying all the time, right? Good positioning is usage of cover, bad positioning is the absence of cover. Take high grounds when they're an option. You can mine up there super easily. Don't do long rotations in the middle of fights, and then that's about it. Overall, I'd probably say that all goes up to like a medium-high priority. Moving on to awareness, right? Awareness is paying attention to your environment, what's going on around you, what's happening. Make sure that we are paying attention to where is our team at, so we're not going and ulting when our team's walking back from spawn, making sure that we are paying attention to where the enemy team is at, so we know where they are at and we're not just being oblivious to it. Make sure we're paying attention to our audio cues. Make sure that we are paying attention to the kill feed and the flow of the fight, who's winning or losing. Right, as a reminder for that, it's 1 to 2 is an advantage or disadvantage, 2 to 3 is a won or lost fight, and then in a won or lost fight you don't use ults, and then you also in a lost fight want to look to get out if possible. If you cannot, you let them kill you so you don't stagger, right? And then that's about it. Again, probably do like a medium. Like all these things are just kind of clumped up around the middle, which isn't a bad thing. That just is, goes to show that it's like there's no one big thing or one thing that doesn't need work. It's just about a little bit of everything. Though I would recommend don't try to do everything all at once. Focus on one category of things at a time, even though like they're all around the middle, right?
Okay.
pick one thing, right? So, and then move on to the next thing when you're done with that. So let's put that into a list real quick. Number 1 is the positioning, right? Number 1 is just making sure that we're using cover and whatnot, right? All that stuff. 2, let's see, what's 2 at? 2 would probably say goes to your mechanics. 3 goes to your awareness. 4 will tie with your ability usage and your ultimate usage, right? So
Okay.
that's the order in which you probably want to work on those things, and then that's about it. Do you have any questions about anything we've talked about, or just anything else in general?
No, I think that's it. I think this will really help.
All right, sounds good. So let me